Hi, Chef Rue here. Thank you so much for being in our Culinary 102 class this summer. I was excited about trying to get to be with you in the kitchen, show you some hands-on stuff, and just get you rolling. Get your hands in some food and get you ready moving on into your culinary career. And then along comes the corona, the dreaded corona. Anyway, we've kind of modified our approach because we don't want you to stop your education. We don't want to stop teaching. It's what we do. So we're going to do this class this semester online. I'll be very honest with you and tell you that we've never done this before. It's a new adventure for us. It's a new adventure for you. As for how it's going to work, we have a couple of ideas, but I think together with you and us at Delgado, we can work out to where it works good for this class, other classes, and who knows, possible classes into the future. I want to start today by going over the syllabus with you. Well, before we do that, let me tell you one more thing. I am not a movie star. I don't do good on cameras. And if you'd see my hands right now, they're on the table because they're shaking. Even a camera with nobody behind it, no audience makes me nervous. So anyway, we're going to go through the syllabus and tell you a little bit about what we're doing here. So, as you know, basic culinary skills, Culinary 101. This class would normally meet for 5 hours twice a week during the summer. Yours was scheduled to be on Monday and Wednesday. I think it started at 9 a.m. if I remember right. But we're not going to have a meeting time. You can pretty much count that I'll be putting work up on Mondays for you. Possibly if I can get it in and done earlier during the week, like maybe over the weekend, I'll try to get it posted to give you a little bit of jump on what it is you're doing. There'll be several lessons. Each week will be at least one new lesson in there, and you'll have to complete one lesson in order to move on to the next one. Canvas is not going to let you go on to the second one until you complete that first one. There'll be a deadline for when they do. I'll give you until the end of the week, Friday or Saturday, to get it done, so you have plenty enough time to get it done. But we'll get back to that later and talk about exactly how this is going to work and what we're going to do here, right? So let's get into the syllabus and just what this class is all about. Course maximum size is 10. If we were meeting face-to-face, we wouldn't put any more than 10 in here. So we decided we're not going to do it on this one either. We do have 2 sections of classes, and if we needed 3, if we needed 4, if we needed 5, we'd put as many sections as we needed. But we have what we need right now. The division dean, should you need to contact her for any reason, her name is Karen Motion, although it's spelled M-U-S-H-I-N, it's pronounced Motion. She's a very nice lady, very student-centered. She came up as faculty and has worked her way up to the dean's position. And we all like her very much. She's a great lady to work for. She's very student-centered, student-centered. I'm the department chair. Vance Rue, I'm also your instructor. I hold a couple certifications through the American Culinary Federation and the rank of professor here at Delgado. I've been here, most of y'all all know me, I've been here this is my 26th year, 27th year. I think I just finished my 26th, I don't know. I've been here a long time. But anyway, I can tell you that myself, along with everybody else that teaches here, we do so because we love it. We do so because we really enjoy what we do. You have no idea how disappointed we were with this current situation and not being able to be right there with you in the class, with our hands in the food together, chopping and dicing and slicing and tasting and things like that. But we'll get there one day, I promise you. We'll be there. We're not going to let this thing beat us. So, I'll be your instructor. I have taught this class before. It's been quite a while. Actually, this has probably been, 7 or 8 years since I've actually taught a hands-on class in the kitchen. I had to do a little part-time temporary stint as a director of the department, which they told me was going to be very short, wound up being 6 or 7 years. I guess to Delgado, that's kind of short. To me, it was an eternity. However, I really look forward to get back in here and do it with you. My office, you all know where it is. This is building 11 in the kitchen. My office is right next to the coffee machine, room 128. If my door's open, we're there. If my door's shut, more than likely we're not there. But if the door is shut, kind of listen to see if you can hear somebody in there. It's shut for a reason. Either we're not there, or we may be counseling another student or speaking about something private, or we may be working on a project where we really can't be disturbed. But for the most part, if the door's closed, we're not here. One of the other instructors will probably know where we are. Like if Chef Joe leaves, I know where he goes. If Chef Angela leaves, she usually says, look, I'm leaving, I'm going to pick up flour or something like that. So just ask one of them if you really need it. You have, I don't think it's on my syllabus, but you're welcome. Just call my desk phone if you need to get me. My number is 671-6145. That phone rings at my desk, and it transfers through a couple of other phones and switches, but eventually it gets to my cell phone. I try to answer my cell phone anytime. I can tell you that I go to bed early at night and I wake up very early in the morning. So if you call me later in the evening, for me late is 9 o'clock. So if you call me later in the evening and I don't answer the phone, it's not because I'm ignoring your call or don't want to speak to you. It's because I'm in bed, man. An old man like me needs some sleep. So, yeah, I'll get back to you. You can also shoot me an email, vru@dcc.edu. We have a fax number. I don't know anybody who uses fax, but if you really need it, you can have it and use it. Email me. We are not going to meet in this class. However, on Mondays and Wednesdays, at the time that this would normally be scheduled, if you want to meet, if you need help with something, or if you need a little extra hands-on instruction or something along that line, shoot me a call, man. Shoot me an email or give me a call. And during those times, more than likely it'll just be on a Wednesday, but on that time, we can come in and do a little bit of hands-on. The reason that we're not doing a full hands-on class is because we have to social distance. 10 students would fill up the entire kitchen, and wherever we have ranges, it would fill us up. A couple of students would also have to use, small tabletop burners, which really isn't that big of a deal, spreading out like that. But in this situation, if I demoed something up at the front of the class, which I really like doing, and it's a good part of teaching, it really helps you guys a whole lot, you'd have to social distance to do that. We do have some ideas about how to do that with video cameras and such, but in a short time that we were able to do this, we weren't able to get that in, to try to find a grant to pay for that, and then go through the whole state process. Something that normally takes 2 days in your life takes about 3, 4, 5, 6 months in state government and in higher education. So we are thinking about it. We're trying to come up with good ideas, better ways. Hey, and I encourage you, if you got a better idea and a good idea for how we can do it, or how somebody else is doing it during this time, share it with me. Or share it with one of the other instructors, anybody. We'll gladly listen to what you say. So we're going to meet online through your Canvas course. I'll be checking the messages in Canvas starting tomorrow, just to see if they are in there. To tell you that, again, I'm not really good at teaching online. Well, let me say I haven't done teaching online in a very long time. And as far as Canvas goes, as all y'all know, I'm still learning it, getting better at it. Today I'm better than I was yesterday. Tomorrow I'll be better than I was today on it. And hopefully you're the same way. So look, if an old man like me can try to pick up some of this technology and do things and get things to work in a way that's functional, you can too. All of you can do it. If you tell yourself you can't do it, guess what? You can't do it. But if you tell yourself, I'm gonna get this, think about it logically with a level head, and seek help where you can, then you'll do okay. You'll do good. Don't let it intimidate you. My office hours, I'll be here most of the time. You can always count on her on a Monday and Wednesday from 9 o'clock in the morning, if not earlier. I usually get here about 7, but 9 o'clock is pretty much where we'd like to be. And I'll be here till sometime early in the afternoon. Those 2 days are going to be important for you also, and I'll talk about that in just a few minutes. The text and reading, it's the same textbook that you're going to use, that you use in Culinary 101. It's Professional Cooking. So you don't have to buy a text for this book. We will be utilizing chapters throughout the book that we may or may not have touched on in one of your previous classes. If you haven't taken a Culinary 101 class, you need to buy the textbook. I'm using the 9th edition. This syllabus will be posted online too in the files and documents, so it'll have it written on there. You can use the 8th edition, you can use the 7th edition, or any earlier editions that you want if you can get a good deal on them. I like the 9th edition, but the only difference is that the information will be there. 1 or 2 things may or may not be. You may have some extra stuff, you may not have 1 or 2 things, but the page numbers will definitely be different. So when you're looking for something in the book, always try to refer to it by subject matter rather than by page. And that'll be a little bit easier for you to find things. You can get the e-text if you like. It's a heck of a lot cheaper. The electronic version of the textbook, you can get that through www.wiley.com. The publisher's Wiley & Sons, W-I-L-E-Y. Google it and you can get to it. Okay, the e-text is a good way. If you're buying a new book also, you can get a loose leaf version. So it's not a hardback. It's pages that are printed in color, front and back, but there are 3 holes that are punched in it, so you can put it inside of a 3-ring binder. All the information's there. Okay, it's cool. That's probably the way that we're moving in the future, just to try to save some people some money. Personally, I like the really nice hardback books, but you know, times are tough, and I understand they're expensive. So you got to do what you got to do. Course description. So if you read it, it's a basic introductory level cooking skills course. You could, for the most part, put a period and end everything after that. We're going to cover very basic cooking methods. The way we're going to focus on here. We'll start off with knife skills. Well, actually, before that, we'll start off after this syllabi review with a walkthrough from the kitchen. I want to do this as if you were in a commercial kitchen. So we're going to go through the kitchen. I'll give you a tour of it, an online tour. I'm going to go through some equipment and I'll tell you what that equipment is, what it does, what it's used for, what it can't do, what it's really good at, how to set it up, how to break it down, and some safety issues with it. We'll go through just about every piece of savory cooking equipment in the kitchen that we have. One of the first lessons that we're going to go into, and we would normally do, is on the things that you're really excited about, which are the knives. That's considered one of your books almost, or treated just like a book. Please get the Delgado Toolkit. It's available in the Delgado bookstore. They are open. You'd have to call them or go online to see what their hours are. To get that, they don't have books in there, but they do have those supplies that you can't buy other places. So they do have the toolkit in stock. The other place you can buy it from is Care Restaurant Supply. C-A-I-R-E, Care Restaurant Supply. Google it. It's walking distance from Delgado. If you don't like to walk, then it may not be walking distance for you, but it's probably not even a half of a mile or a quarter of a mile to get there, something like that. It's not far. You can do it. You need to exercise anyway. So, the toolkit. I strongly suggested for this class, I understand about maybe you're not working. Maybe you are working, but your hours were cut. Maybe the bottom line is possibly your income level might greatly reduce. Maybe you can't work because you are taking care of kids and you're now a teacher or something along that lines. But anyway, I'm not going to require you to get the toolkit for this semester. You will need to have some tools to use them. Some of those would be a basic French knife. I'll get into that in another video. I'll show you what it is that you're going to need to be successful in this class. In a nutshell, I can tell you what you'll be doing is on a Monday afternoon or a Tuesday before noon, you'll come onto campus. To get into a building, you do have to check in. There's a document for you to fill in. I will put that up on the Canvas site as well. You can print it out and have it filled in before you come. Please do not fill in the temperature. When you get to campus, you can check in at one of 4 checkpoints. The closest one to culinary is going to be in Building 2 in the breezeway. Building 2 is separated kind of in 2 buildings. In a breezeway right in between, not the parking lot, not on the street side, the Wall Street side, but the quadrangle side. Right there is a little desk for check-in. They close at 9:30 in the morning. You can also check in right here in culinary. We've all gone through training as to how to do it and what to do. So yeah, you can check in here. You cannot come into a building without a wristband, without checking in and without a wristband. Where I was, it's that you'll come onto campus and we'll have your food packaged up, ready for you to go. So when you do, very important, bring with you a cooler with either gel packs or some ice in it or something like that. Not a big cooler, a small cooler, something probably that would hold no more than maybe a chicken or 2 chickens at the most. For something about that quantity, it's not like you're going to be picking up chickens every week. So anyway, come on here, pick it up. It'll all be prepackaged for you. The thing that we need to insist that you do is take care of that food. Go straight home. Do not leave it in your car. Don't put it in your book bag or something along that lines and go home a couple hours later. You've all passed Culinary 103, Food Safety and Sanitation, and you know about the relationship of time and temperature as far as bacterial growth and food safety. That cold food needs to stay cold. Okay, as soon as you get home, put it in a refrigerator. You all know where to store things in your refrigerator. One of your first lessons is going to be to give me a video or a photograph of your refrigerator at home, explaining where food is. So you know what food goes on the bottom, what food can be stored on top of other foods, and things of that nature. So please store that product. If by chance you cannot get here to come pick it up, you can purchase it from the grocery store. Just let me know in advance if you're not going to be able to get here, and I'll give you a list of what it is that you would have needed for the class. It's trying not to use anything overly expensive, but you pay lab fees and we want to be able to give you the food that you have for it. I cannot give you refunds on your lab fees. I don't have power to do that, and I can tell you the college isn't going to do it either. So anyway, try to get here on those days to pick your food up. So office hour, time, text and reading. We told you about basic, what the course is going to do, a little bit about how we're going to do it. We'll start with knife skills, and we're going to focus kind of on cooking methods. So we'll start, one of the first ones we're going to start with is pan broiling and broiling, pan roasting and broiling. We'll move on to another cooking method, maybe saute. One of the only few areas where we're going to focus on the actual food group is we'll do egg cookery, because that's kind of like on its own. We may do something with grains and potatoes as well. We'll see how it goes. Prerequisites, you do have to have completed successfully with a grade of C or better Culinary 101. That's Introduction to Culinary Arts, and Culinary 103, Food Safety and Sanitation. The course objectives and the course goal, I'm not going to read every one of those, because if I didn't put you to sleep yet, you're going to be if I read and explained each one of those. So how are you going to be graded? You'll have a midterm exam and a final exam. It's possible, I don't know yet, that you may need to come on campus to be able to take that exam. We'll see how that works out. I can't tell you yes or no how that's going to be. But you'll have assignments and homework to do. There'll be some readings, maybe recipe readings, maybe references on the internet to see videos or articles to read concerning whatever the lesson is that week. It's actually be kind of fun. I don't know about you, but I get started on one of those articles, and next thing I know, it's 3 or 4 hours later, and I'm on some totally different food topic. So it happened to me last night. I was trying to copy a recipe from the internet that looked really interesting. I wanted to try. And next thing I know, I've got like 6 or 8 different recipes I've typed in before I actually even got to the one I like. So you'll have those kind of things that you can do. Try to stay focused if you can. So yeah, you'll get some of that information. There'll be the recipes there, and you're going to prepare them at home. You videotape yourself with your telephone or with a video camera or with a GoPro or with whatever you have. If you don't have anything like that, you can take photographs. If you're doing individual photographs, you'll give me a narrative, explaining what each photograph is and what you're doing in detail. So we're not going to do as many recipes as we normally would because we know it's a little bit more challenging for you to do them at home. And there'll be a whole other document, file, and a video on how you're going to, what it is we're looking for in those videos and those submissions. Chef Joe and I have been working on those for quite some time. And doing a lot of research as to what other schools are doing, and we're kind of taking the best practices when each one of them are doing, and we're using that for how we're doing. I'm really encouraging your feedback, constructive feedback. I don't want it ever to, feedback doesn't mean a complaint session or a session or a place to air your grievances. It's constructive feedback. It's critical thinking, meaning that you can think about something and critically analyze it. Critically means looking at details, not the important details, the critical details, and either explaining those and how they work, why they work, what they mean, what they represent, and at the end you can summarize with some narrative or feelings. Anyway, that's what your writings are going to be like. And like I said, if there are suggestions, it's the same thing. So anyway, you'll have a midterm, you'll have a final, you'll have homework and assignments, and there'll be a couple quizzes. The quizzes aren't going to be difficult, but the quizzes will all be online. You'll be able to do them on your phone. You can do them from a laptop, from a computer. The libraries are open on campus. You do need to have your Delgado ID, and you do need to check in. You can come check in here if you like, and then go to the library, or you can go to Building 2 or Building 1, one of those. One of the checkpoints on campus before you go in there. The computer labs on campus are open, so you can use those if you need to. Method of grading. I'll tell you right now what the method of grading is. Delgado Culinary Arts, we use a 7-point grading scale. So every 7 points goes down a letter grade. So 93 to 100 is an A, 85 to 92 is a B, and so forth. It goes all the way down to the highest D right now is a 70, is a 76. The highest C is a 77. So anything below a 77, if you're a culinary major, you'll need you need to make a C or better. So we are changing that for a few other courses, introductory courses, possibly. We're thinking and discussing it, but this course will probably stay with that grading scale for the most part. As far as the college policies and the classroom policies, go through and read those. They make a lot of sense, and they're mainly common sense things. Naturally, I'm really big on respect. I'm very big on giving people the respect that they deserve and the respect that they earn. I do not play the game of insulting people, talking negative to people. I try to be as positive as I possibly can with everything in life. And I can tell you that I came from a family of that was nothing but very cynical pessimists. And it wasn't very uplifting or encouraging. And I've kind of tried to make a point in my life to try to be as positive, looking for the good in things, looking for the positive outcomes and things like that. We're in tough times right now, man. The world is topsy-turvy, and a lot of things going on in the news, and I think our society is in a state of flux right now. But that doesn't change anything as far as I'm concerned with the way that we're conducting this class. I don't take derogatory comments about anyone. I do not I don't have to agree with you, but I'll always respect you, okay, for who you are. I don't like insults. If there is something that you have to say about someone's dish or someone's comments that you may not agree with, I'd expect for you to respond to those in a professional manner. You will be going on the discussion board and responding to a few discussion board statements. And when we do that, we do it in very clear, understandable communication. We spell properly and we use proper grammar. You're going to have to write menus. You're going to have to write letters to guests. You're going to have to write letters to customers. You're going to have to write cards to customers. You're going to have to, like I said, word a menu. You're going to have to write recipes. So all of those things that I hated in school, I couldn't stand English. I had to learn how to do it, and you just do it. As far as the mathematics go, we expect correct answers. There is no high-level math in this course, but you may need to convert a recipe. We've all learned how to do it if you had Culinary 101 with me. If you haven't, there's a very good explanation in the book, and I'll let you know where that is when we need to do it. One thing I will tell you is that I'll establish a time for when your assignments and your cooking videos and photographs and comments are going to be. I will accept late work up to a point. I can tell you as soon as the due date and due time expires, points start being deducted. Okay, so it's important that you do things on time. We need to follow time schedules in this class. The other thing about my family growing up is that they were perpetually late for everything. And it drove me absolutely crazy when I got older. When I was younger, I just thought that's the way life was. But I can tell you, particularly when I started working in a restaurant, if you open the doors at 11 o'clock and a customer sits down in your restaurant and orders for his lunch while he's working, or her lunch, or their lunch while they're working, they don't care that you don't feel good, and they don't care that you're having a bad day, and they don't care about whatever goes on in the kitchen. It's not their concern. They want their food no matter what, and they want it on time, and that's what they're paying for. That hamburger that cost you about $1.50 to put on the plate, they're paying $10, $12 for it. So you need to be prompt with everything you do. Preparedness, be prepared for the lesson. I'll post what it is that you're going to need to do, and do it. I'm going to try to make this as enjoyable a class as it possibly can be. While keeping in mind, your goal is professional cooking, to be a professional cook, to be a chef, to own your own restaurant one day, to work for a big name popular chef, to work in a hotel, to be a food critic, to give food tours, things of that nature, to try to attract tourists to the state of New Orleans. I can tell you, we really need your expertise in doing that right now in order for our city to survive. So, on time, okay? Anything that you film, anything that you photograph, anything that has an image of you in it, for this class, you'll be in full Delgado uniform. Unless you're a culinary management major, or if you're a hospitality major, just let me know beforehand, because I can't remember everybody's names. You don't have to be in full uniform. I would ask if you have a chef coat and some type of a head covering, of non-slip shoes, to wear that. If not, or if you have some issues or not sure what to do, just contact me individually. We can discuss it on the phone. Okay? And then the miscellaneous things in the syllabus. Just talk to you about the disability statement, about our Title IX statement, which is sexual harassment, discrimination, and things like that. I really appreciate your time. I thank you very much for sitting through almost 30 minutes. We're at 29 minutes and 15 seconds right now. Well, about 30 seconds. And there'll be more coming. Thank you so much.